Hey everybody, it's Andrew back again, and we have our full review of the HP Dragonfly G4, all new for 2023. And I've been a huge fan of the Dragonfly line through the years, and one of my favorite ultra portables for sure. There's no doubt about it, especially when it comes to a business class laptop. This has got to be on the top of the list for sure. Now, I have the latest iteration here. It comes with a beautiful 13.5 inch display. I have the full HD 1920 by 1280, but you can also get it in a 3K, 2K display, 3000 by 2000 OLED option. Yeah, that's a really nice one. But I want to maximize battery life. I like having the optional 5G, which is what I have in this review unit, especially when I'm going to events, traveling. It's really a perfect laptop in a lot of ways. Super light and thin, of course. It's going to be hardly noticeable in your bag, so ultra portable. That's what we like to see. But we're going to find out if it's worth upgrading from the G3 from last year. We're going to have a lot to talk about here. This is a good one. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the HP Dragonfly G4, all new for 2023. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by HP. I'm not being sponsored by HP. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. HP is not getting copy approval. They're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit is on loan from HP, and once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Now, as far as pricing for the Dragonfly G4, you're looking at a starting price of $1,324.96. You can head on over to hp.com and you can configure it there. There are different options, of course. The price always goes up from there. And then, of course, price as tested here today, you're looking at $1,757.08. This, of course, is as of July 28th, 2023, the date I am recording this review. And for those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. So, you know the drill, folks. Let's do it. So really nice packaging as usual with the Dragonfly. I really do like it. You get a little nice diagram there. It's got some plastic on it. Let's take that off. Get some warranty information right there. Let's put this to the side. Very nice feeling. Obviously feels pretty good. Good premium design here. We've got a power cord right there. We've got looks like a 65 watt USB Type-C. Now, I love these Type-C cables, or adapters, I should say, from HP, because it has these braided cables here, and these are really durable. They don't snag all that much, and again, it says 65 watts. Now, as far as build is concerned, this is made from 90% recycled magnesium. Magnesium will give you that super lightweight material that you'll need to make it very portable, but there will be a little give and flex in the chassis, just the nature of magnesium. Again, it's an alloy, but it does have a little bit of flex, as you see here. But don't get me wrong, this doesn't have a cheap feel in any way. This is a very premium feeling device. There's no doubt about it. Now, the starting weight is 1 kilogram or 2.2 pounds, according to HP. The review unit that I have here with a few extra features brings it up to 1.153 kilograms or 2.54 pounds. This is extremely portable and extremely light. Throw it in your bag, you'll hardly notice it's there. Okay, let's talk about the port selection. We're going to start off on the left side. We get an HDMI 2.1 port. You get your SIM tray for the optional mobile broadband, and you get a USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port. And I love the fact that they're going to split these up on each side of each other. That's been pretty good. And moving over to the right side is a Kensington lock port, a second USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port. And by the way, they're both full function as far as those Thunderbolt 4 ports. Drop jaw USB Type-A port, good to see a legacy port, and finally your 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack to round out the ports on this laptop. All in all, pretty nice port selection for an ultra portable. Notably missing, there's no SD card reader. HP makes it super easy to get inside this laptop. All you need to do is loosen the 4 T5 Torx screws. They're captive, and that's it. Pry off the bottom plate with a guitar pick or pry tool, and you're in. Once inside, you'll notice the 2 fans for cooling. We'll get into the thermal performance later on. You'll notice that 68 watt-hour battery. We're going to get into the battery performance later, and spoiler alert, it's pretty great, pretty phenomenal. And of course, the one thing that is upgradable here is going to be that M.2 SSD, and that, of course, gets some excellent reads and writes. As you can see, the one included with my review unit has some fast reads and writes, so that's been pretty good. And like most ultra portables here in 2023, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, not upgradable by the user. Now, my review unit has 16 gigabytes of DDR5 4800 megahertz RAM running in quad channel, as you can see here, and you can configure it with up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. So for those that need that extra RAM, you have an option here. That's good. Now, when it comes to wireless, you're looking at Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3. That combo card is soldered into the motherboard, also not upgradable by the user, but the good news is the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth have been working flawlessly. No issues on either front. And you have the optional mobile broadband. My review unit actually has this modem. You can get it with either LTE or with a 5G modem. Those are the 2 options. You're going to pay extra for it. But for the mobile road warrior, it just might be worth it. Having that always on connection, secure connection, not having to rely on a Wi-Fi at an airport or your mobile phone for hotspot. That's been pretty good, having an independent connection, at least for getting work done. Now, you have a few options when it comes to the display, and the high-end option, of course, would be the OLED offering in a 3K, 2K resolution. That's 3000 by 2000. That's if you want the color accuracy. That's if you want the high resolution, and of course, the excellent coverage of the color gamut. I have the non-touch full HD one here, 1920 by 1280. Now, these all have a 3:2 aspect ratio, and that means you're going to see more on the display. You do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing, and it also has a low blue light filter, helping reducing the chances of eye strain. That's been pretty good. Now, as far as this display itself is concerned, it's a 60 hertz display, no option for high refresh rate, although I don't think a business user is going to focus on the refresh rate. I think 60 hertz is going to maximize the battery life, and that's what a business user is going to need. Now, when it comes to the brightness, they're claiming 400 nits. I've gotten a measurement of 398 nits, very close and very bright. So that's been pretty good. Now, it is a glossy display, and depending on your lighting conditions, you will notice some glare and reflections, something to keep in mind. It's got good coverage of the color gamut, not great, although if you want better coverage, check out that OLED offering. You've got really good color accuracy, you got good contrast, very good black levels, good white point, and I didn't detect any PWM or pulse width modulation, or otherwise known as screen flickering, in my testing, so that's been pretty good. And with that 3:2 aspect ratio means that when you're consuming media that has been made for a 16:9 display, you're going to see black bars on the top and the bottom when consuming media. Not a big deal, but I wanted to point that out. And my overall takeaway is this is an excellent display which maximizes the battery life but doesn't skimp on giving you a very good display here. But again, if you want an even higher end display, check out that OLED offering. And for those that need extra security, HP also offers this with their SureView Reflect Privacy display with a peak brightness of 1000 nits. All right, folks, so this is a 5 megapixel HP camera here that does 1440p video. That's what we're shooting in right now. And it's an IR camera. That means you can log in with face recognition with Windows Hello. There is a camera shutter button, or dedicated key, I should say, on the keyboard, giving you more security and privacy for those wondering. And what do you think about the array mics as far as the background noise suppression, of course? What do you think about it as overall audio for your video conferencing needs, doing Zoom calls and the like? I think this is a really nice camera. Now, of course, it does have a lot of those effects, background blur, auto framing, auto lighting, all that stuff, all that jazz. It really is here. You can change the background. You can put your own background. So there are a lot of things you can do with this, and I think that gives you a lot of options. One of the best background blur effects I've seen so far in a camera. And like I've said, HP has really been killing the camera game here, doing a fantastic job, and this is no exception, just another iteration of what they've been doing. So really good job on that front. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in that comment section below. Now, HP sent over one of their poly cameras to demonstrate some really excellent multi-camera features that they baked into their software, allowing you to do product demonstrations, allowing you to do multi-camera, different angles, of course, a lot of great features here, especially when giving a presentation. All sorts of possibilities here with multiple cameras. I love this. I want more manufacturers to follow suit here. This is really, really good. Okay, let's talk about performance, and this is running Intel's 13th gen processor, the Core i7-1365U. That's a 15-watt CPU with 10 cores. That's 8 efficient cores and 2 performance cores. And as you can see from these benchmark results, good single-core and decent multi-core performance, although I've seen higher multi-core performance on other laptops running the same chipset, so just keep that in mind. And of course, this has integrated Iris Xe graphics, which are, of course, in need of a dire refresh, as it's getting a little bit long in the tooth. But doing everyday tasks such as Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, all work really well on this productivity machine. And of course, you could do light video editing in 1080p. I wouldn't do any 4K video editing if you can avoid it. It's better to use something with a discrete GPU. And I think it goes without saying, this is not a gaming laptop, of course, but if you lower some of the settings, you can get some playable frame rates on some of the more popular titles. Don't expect to be playing AAA titles on their highest settings. It's just not in the cards with this laptop, but the occasional game here and there on your downtime is certainly doable on this ultra portable. Well, you're probably wondering, thin and light, will this thermal throttle? Well, good news, it got a passing score of 98.3% on the Time Spy stress test, indicating little, if any, thermal throttling was detected under heavy load. That's really good. More good news when it comes to the surface temperatures, although there were a couple of hot spots above the keyboard, below the display, not where you're going to be placing your finger. So that's a good spot. If it's going to get a little bit hot or warm there, that's the place you want it. On the underside, never reaching above 49 degrees Celsius. So very good, never too hot to the touch. It won't burn your skin. They've kept it relatively cool here. And as far as fan noise, reaching as high as 45 decibels, not very loud, but definitely noticeable. And when you're in the balance mode, not very audible, hardly kicks in. So that's been pretty good when you're doing everyday tasks. Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest strengths of this laptop, and that would, of course, be its great longevity when it comes to battery life. Yes, the HP Dragonfly G4 sports a 68 watt-hour battery, and it did 15 hours and 12 minutes on the PC Mark X Modern Office battery test. To put it into context, the ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 11 that I recently reviewed did 11 hours and 41 minutes on that same test. And when you compare it to the Dell Latitude 9440 2-in-1, that one did 12 hours and 45 minutes versus the Dragonfly G4, which did, again, the 15 hours and 12 minutes. And you're seeing very good video playback results as well, comparable to the others in this category. This is a good category when it comes to longevity, business-focused laptops that will give you all-day battery life. And the Dragonfly G4 will not disappoint you. It's excellent when it comes to battery life. And it takes about 90 minutes to give you a full charge with the included 65-watt USB Type-C charging adapter. And for those wondering, yes, you can open the lid with one finger, and the screen goes back 180 degrees, allowing you to get a really nice viewing angle. So that's been pretty good for those wondering. And the hinges are on pretty nice and tight here. I didn't see a lot of screen wobble when typing, so that's been pretty good. Now, as far as the keyboard itself is concerned, I've always been a big fan of the Dragonfly keyboards. I like the tactility, I like the feedback, and this is no exception. The feedback has been very good, and typing out long documents and emails has worked out well with this really nicely designed keyboard. And as far as the backlight is concerned, it's a multi-stage backlight, allowing you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment. And there's good contrast between the white LED backlight and the dark keys. No trouble seeing them. And that has a really nice glass precision touchpad, very responsive when it comes to scrolling, doing all the gestures. Now, it's not a haptic touchpad. It's a traditional style touchpad, but a very good touchpad nonetheless, a nice implementation here. Okay, let's talk about the audio, and the Dragonfly line has traditionally been very good when it comes to the audio, which is a little bit unusual when you think about a ultra portable business class laptop. Well, this has some really good speakers. They're quad speakers, they're Bang & Olufsen tuned, and I thought the volume was good, the mids were decent, and there was some bass. Overall, nice, rich sound. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Now, let's give it a listen.
How you been? it's been such a long time. I can feel my heart jumping. Are you still mine? No one ever buried now. But I come closer down to. I guess it wasn't meant to be. But never mind what's new with you. Oh, you look so. I tell you almost every night, and everything is.
Okay, people, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the HP Dragonfly G4 here for 2023? And I think if you're coming from a Dragonfly G3 from last year, I don't see a big reason to update unless you have a need to go from the 12th gen to the 13th gen in terms of that performance bump. But as far as everything else, it's pretty much relatively the same here in 2023. So if you already have the G3, I think you're okay. I don't think it's a necessary update unless, again, you want that performance boost that the 13th gen gives you. Now, having said that, I like the display options. The OLED option at the top of the line there is a nice one, especially for those that need that extra pixel count. That will certainly get the job done. Stays cool under heavy load. I didn't detect throttling under heavy load. That's really good. Stayed relatively quiet, although I did notice a little bit of that fan noise under maximum load. It's got an excellent keyboard and touchpad, really good battery life, and it's got a really nice high-res 5 megapixel camera, and you also have the multi-camera features that HP gives you. That's a really nice leg up here. Now, as far as the negatives, no high refresh rate option, of course, not a big deal for a business-focused laptop. Noticeable fan noise under heavy load, but not all the time, just when you're really pushing it. No SD card reader would have been nice, and of course, like most ultra portables here in 2023, the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, not user upgradable. But there's a lot to like here, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you're coming from an older version of the Dragonfly, you're coming from a different brand, and you want to try out the Dragonfly line, one of the best in the business when it comes to business laptops, especially ultra portables. This will not disappoint. I highly recommend the HP Dragonfly Gen 4 here for 2023. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in that comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and the platform formerly known as Twitter. So until next time, this is Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.